Hi, it's Darnell with Wheel of Recipes, and this is my review of the Ninja Foodi XL 2-basket air fryer. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed. Alright, so we've got it all unboxed now, and here's the power cord. It's a 2-prong polarized power cord, and we've got a packet of goodies here from Ninja. There's a warning, I guess that's for legal purposes. There's a Kickstarter recipes, little 2 easy recipes to get you started with DualZone technology on your 2-basket air fryer. So, how to do a chicken and some French fries, and a little thing there. Then they have a quick start guide here, and it has 15 irresistible recipes. So, some interesting little recipes there. Not many, well, not any pictures in there. Then you have your manual in multiple languages. So that's all of the accessories other than the cooker itself. Now this is the 10-quart version of the cooker. They did make an earlier 8-quart version. Other than the size, there's not a whole great deal of difference between the two of these, I can tell you that now. But I will be going through a full review of this one as I did with the earlier one. But I will just say, for you, generally speaking, if you're familiar with the 8-quart, this one, other than being bigger, is not very far afield different. So just to get that out of the way. Now the temperature ranges for this cooker are 105 degrees Fahrenheit up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So that allows you to do everything from dehydration all the way up through air frying. And this one being a little larger than its predecessor, that allows you to do a little more than you could with the previous model. And this XL version of the cooker, like its predecessor, has 1690 watts of power. I don't understand why making a bigger cooker you wouldn't up the power a bit. It seems like having a bigger cooker with the same power, just generally speaking, having not used it yet, you're not going to get additional cooking power out of the larger cooker when you're having to fill a larger cooking space with heat. So it seems like, you know, they would have upped it to 1800. I'm guessing there's a rational reason why they wouldn't or they didn't do that. But this being a larger cooker with the same power rating as its predecessor, it seems like the predecessor might cook some things a little faster than this bigger one having to fill more space with heat. But that's just a general observation there. And I will say, even with the old 8-quart, when you did 2 zones at the same time, both sides at the same time, it couldn't cook things as hot as if you were using just one. And this one, this new version, has a technology to try and, when you're only using one, try and, you know, pick up the pace some. But still, it seems like, you know, just from reading the manual, they recognize that when you're using both zones, you're not going to be able to dedicate as much power to both at the same time. And so that's another reason to think, you know, well, why wouldn't they up it to 1800 to have more to work with? But I guess maybe for whatever reason that's the case. Now I'm going to go over the weight and the dimensions of the cooker. The cooker weighs 19.8 pounds. The dimensions are 17.1 inches in length, 13.9 inches in width, and 12.8 inches in height. The old 8-quart's documented dimensions was 15.63 in length, a little shorter in length, 13.86 in width, just a tad shorter in width, and 12.4 inches in height, just a tad shorter in height. But I do have the old one still, and we will do a little bit of a comparison as far as the size of the two. And this cooker, being a 10-quart cooker, it has a 5-quart per side capacity so you can basically fill up both sides with food, up to 5 quarts. And something that they do recommend if you're going to, put more than a single layer of food, they recommend that you do pause and shake the food up some so that things can, during the cook, be well cooked all over. And they do mention, since it's a closed-in type of basket air fryer, that you check your food frequently to avoid things getting burned. And the fan could blow lightweight foods around, so you want to be careful with that. And this cooker has no preheat, and you'd have to make your own preheat yourself if you wanted to have a preheat. You'd have to just kind of run for some time, ahead of your actual cook, but there's no built-in preheat. Now I want to give you a look around the cooker. You can see the front here and the sides. Up top is air intake. On the top all the way around it has air intake. But on the back is where the exhausts are for the 2 cooking zones that comes out the back. And so basically around the other side here. So that's basically, a general look around the cooker. So now I'm giving you a closer up view of the cooker, and we'll kind of go over all the functions and such a little later, but you have like zone 1 and zone 2 buttons, your power button. You've got this knob here that lets you select different options, and you can press it in to start and pause cooks. And you've got a smart finish button, a match cook button. We'll go over those. And inside is just basically, it's just basically basket air fryer. And you've got your little, your little thing here that you can, should come up. There it is. It comes up, but you just set your food on that so that your food's raised off the bottom, so that you get some decent airflow in there. And basically same deal on the other side. So pretty simple 2-basket air fryer. Alright, so here we have the old and the new. This is the old 8-quart that has 2 4-quart baskets. This is the new 10-quart that has 2 5-quart baskets. And you can always distinguish them because the 10-quart has the little knob on it, whereas the 8-quart does not. So basically we'll just kind of, have a look at the 2 baskets. I mean, even though one is 10 and one is 5, just one half is 5, and one side here is 4, I mean, it looks like a drastic difference, even though it's just 1 quart difference. Now this is the lower part of the 5-quart side of one and the 4-quart side of this other one. And, just kind of to give you an idea, I guess when you put them, there's not very much difference there in size. That is, a little bit of difference. I guess it looks more drastic when you have them separated than when you actually put one on the other. It's like, yeah, it's smaller, but it's not that much smaller, but still smaller. So, I mean, depending on what you're cooking, it may make a difference for what you need. And I'm just going to measure from that, little bottom piece up to the top. On the 8-quart cooker, it's 4 inches. On the 10-quart cooker, it's about 4.5 inches. Now, if we do basically the basket here, it's 9 inches that way, and about just a tad over 6 inches the other way. So 9 and a little over 6, whereas with this one, it's that's about a little under 9 and about 7. Let me check this one again. Did I look at that right? Yeah, it's a little under 9. Yeah, this one is a little under 9 as well. So a little under 9 there, but about 6 the other way. Whereas this one is a little under 9, and you get about 7 going on your width. So those are the differences in the sizes there of the baskets. now I'll just measure the exterior a little bit. On the top here, just for an independent measure, it's just under 15 inches that way. Here we've got a little over 16 inches, so a little longer, and you know, it's visibly obvious. Top to bottom, let's say just under 13 inches on the 8 quart, whereas we have about, well, it's about 13 and a quarter, I would say, on the 10 quart. So let's see if we can go just the front to back. We'll just go, you know, kind of guesstimate to a handle end. It's nearly 13 inches. And then on this one, it's like just over a foot. Let's see, make sure I got my measure straight. Yeah, it's just over a foot, but it's less than 13. Whereas this one, okay. Yeah, this one is about 12 and a half inches. And the other one, yeah, it's about 12. All right, so they're about the same going this way here. They're about the same. I had to make sure I had my tape measure straight there. But that's the differences. This one's a little larger, but I guess overall the design that Ninja used still doesn't consume too much space. So let's do an initial plug-in here. We'll just pop the plug on in. There we go. And there's no, you know, nothing lights up till you power things on. So we power things on, and side 1 lights up there. And so with that, I'm going to discuss some of the functions just in general, just to give you a general idea. Basically, you hit the side you want to cook on, and then you can select the function. Like I'm on air fry now, and I can, you know, turn to go around to different functions that are available. So like the first one is like air fry, and you can use that for your classic air frying, bake for your baking, roast for your roast. You can hold larger foods for your roast in this cooker, of course. You've got your dehydrate, your reheat, your air broil. I'll get into those in a little more detail in a little bit, but basically when you're, in summary, when you're cooking, you want to do side, you know, 1, and you've got your time and your temp, so you can set your temp up to, you know, 450, and then you got your time in minutes. You can set your time, and then you can go over to side 2, and you can set your, let's see, you can set your, well, it's not letting me do my, oh, I gotta do a function first. There we go. So always gotta do a function first. So let's say on this side I'm doing a air broil. So can I get it to air broil? It's not gonna let me do air broil. Now air broil is interesting because you can't do air broil while you're cooking on another side. So I can do, like, let's say bake on the other side, and I can have a temp and a time for bake, and then I've got, you know, 2 different settings, and if I were to just hit start, one would start at, you know, count down from 10, the other one would start count down to 13. If I want them both to finish at the exact same time, I hit the smart finish button. And then with smart finish, what's going to happen is this one's going to go for about 3 minutes, and when it gets to 10 minutes left, then this one will start as well, and that way they both finish at the exact same time. Now if I hit the match cook, let's see, I have to go over here to side 1, and I'll click the match cook. Did that light up? Now I think I have to, I'm going to have to turn it off and back on because I had this side set, so it's not letting me do match cook. But do a match cook, let's say I set things onto air fry, and I've got, you know, a temperature, and I've got time, and then I click match cook. Then it basically makes the same thing. It copies from this side to the other side. But if you already have settings on the side 2, then it's not going to let you click the match cook. And that way you can be cooking the same thing in both baskets at the exact same time. So basically air broil, just remember, in summary, air broil only works on one side. And if you're having issues getting the air broil, make sure that you know, maybe just turn things off and back on and select the side you want to do air broil on first. If it doesn't let you do air broil when you try and do it for side 2, if you want it on side 2. But air broil will work on either side as long as you're not trying to do both at the same time. That's because air broil is supposed to use a lot more power than the other functions. And if it's anything like the 8-quart cooker, air broil basically burns things down. I mean, it burns things down super hot, especially if you're not cooking anything on the other side. Especially air broil, it tears things up. It is not like broil on other air fry ovens. Well, on air fry ovens and stuff, broil might not work as good as air fry in some cases. But in this thing, air broil is like the barn burner setting. You know, I don't use air broil very often because you got to be careful with that one. Now let's say that I've got a Smart Finish cook going, so I click on Smart Finish, and well actually I've got to, I guess, finish setting my time and temps here. Alright, so now I click on Smart Finish, and so let's say I just started this cook. I press in to start, so it's starting, and one side's holding, the other side's running. But let's say I want to pause this cook, and I want to pause side 1. I click on side 1 and I click the pause, and it pauses. Now that also kicks off side 2 automatically. So that's something to be aware of there. But if you click on this again, then it'll get side 1 running again. I can click on side 2 and pause side 2, and then click on this again and get side 2 running again. So basically, you click on your side and then you click the button to which one you want to pause. Let's say I want it to stop. I want to totally stop this air broil on side 2. First I pause it, and then I take its time down to 0. And then I say, okay, I'm going to start side 2 again, and it just says, okay, I'm done. I'm just in a cool setting because I'm not running anymore. So that's how you can stop a side. You can stop a side while running the other side, or pause a side while running the other side. And like I guess as we saw, if one side's running and the other one's on hold, but you pause a side, the other side might get going on you, but that's basically something you have to manipulate depending on your circumstances. And just for the sake of clarity, you can, as I mentioned, even with the other functions, if you only want to cook on one side, you can cook on just one side if you don't want to use both zones, but you can use both zones if you want to use both. And that's just something I wanted to mention for the sake of being clear about that. Now I'm going to go into each of the functions a bit more in depth and some detail for you, so that we're sure that we have a clear understanding of them all. But air fry is basically, you know, general air frying function. For bake, you can cook with bake, and they mentioned that you should use 25 degrees less than you would with a conventional oven, and it goes for like 1 minute to 4 hours of cooking time. With roast, you can basically roast for 1 minute to 4 hours. With the air broil, or aka the barn burner, you can basically do 1 to 30 minutes. And the reason you can only do 1 to 30 minutes is because, like I said, things get real hot with that one. Next, we have the reheat. And with reheat, you can do 1 minute to 1 hour of reheating. With dehydrate, you can basically, what you can do so that you can dehydrate more, you can take the crisper plate out and you can put some food in that you want to dehydrate, then put the crisper plate on top of that. Let's say you had a thin layer of strawberries or something. You can put your thin layer of strawberries in under the crisper plate, put the crisper plate on top, then put another layer of like strawberries on top of that. So you've got 2 layers of strawberries dehydrating. And dehydrate runs for 1 hour to 12 hours of cooking time. So now I'm going to do a test cook of basically chicken and more chicken. I've got some frozen hot wings back there, and here I've got a whole, this is about a 5.5 pound chicken. So we're going to see if I can squeeze it in there on a side to cook it. I'm going to season it up with some Old Bay seasoning, and some lemon pepper seasoning. And I will say nothing in this video is sponsored, just to be clear about that. But I'm going to get this chicken seasoned up real quick. Alright, so my chicken is all seasoned up, and so I'm going to try and squeeze it on in here now. Let's see if I can lift it up by the legs and plop it in, and it fits. It fits in there. Look at that. That's a 5.5 pound chicken, okay? And it's in there. So good to go. And I'm going to take some wings here, and I'm just making like a single layer of wings. So I've got about 7 frozen hot wings here. So just put those on side 2. So now I'm going to wake the cooker up, and I'm going to set this first side to roast, and I'm going to set the temperature to 350. And I'm going to set the cooking time to 1 hour 25 minutes, because this is a 5.5 pound chicken. So 1 hour 25 on this side. On this other side, side 2, I'm going to set things to air fry. I'm going to set my temperature to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. My cooking time, I'm going to set that, let's say 20. We'll just do 20 anyway, because we're doing a 2-sided cook, so we might not have as much power as if there was just a single dedicated side. If I was just doing one side with those wings, I'd probably be like maybe 18 minutes. But I'm going to click that match cook button so that things end at the same time. And so now with that, I'm hitting the basically start button. I'm going to let that cook, and I'll bring you on back later. Alright, 1 hour 25 minutes of cooking is almost up. I did not touch a thing, even though I know you're advised to check. I'm just going to see what we get here. And so the time is up as far as the cook time, and then it goes into a cool down mode, and then it'll, basically say that everything is all done. I'm just going to go ahead and let the cool down mode run, and then go in there and check temperature and stuff. So cool down is done, not too long. And here are our wings. Let's check one. They are done. So wings are good and done. Just dump them all out right there. Now for the big one, the chicken. And I will say you can put up to, they say up to a 6 pound chicken. Up to 6 pounds. You can see the top got really, really heavily cooked. But it's done. It's done. So I checked the breast, and it's done. Try and get down there in the thigh. Yep, down there it's good. So this chicken is done. This chicken's fully cooked. It did get a bit crispy on the top, but there's a 5.5 pound chicken cooked up with hot wings on the other side. You can put whatever you want on the other side, But we have completed chicken, completed wings. Going to give things about 5 minutes to reabsorb juices. And there is something we can do while the meat reabsorbs the juices from the cook. We can talk about cleaning this cooker. Now, you're supposed to clean it after every use, and you'll end up making smoke and such if you don't. The main unit you just want to wipe down with a wet soapy cloth by hand, and then use a wet one that's got no soap on it to clean off the soap and such. And you want to use a mild cleaner, not anything abrasive, and you don't want to use any type of scouring pad that would scratch the surface of anything. For those crisper plates inside of the air fry baskets, they can be washed in a dishwasher or by hand. They don't specify a rack level in a dishwasher. The baskets, they recommend washing those by hand, but you can put them in the dishwasher. They say the lifespan will be longer if you wash them by hand instead of in the dishwasher. Usually I wash everything with this cooker by hand myself personally. And they do mention if you get any food stuck on an accessory, you can soak it for a while. Alright, so let's cut on into the chicken now. See a lot of juice coming out of it. That's a good thing. And you saw the temperature when it was cooked. It wasn't, really far overcooked or anything. It was cooked just right as far as the temperature of the meat came out very nice. So I have some good expectations for this. So let's put a little, nice little piece off there. Things look really moist and juicy. I like that. Then get one of these wings here as well and do a little taste testing. Alright, so thank God for some chicken cooked up in 2 different ways. And so let's do a taste. It's delicious, moist and juicy. It's good. Alright, let's do the wing. Alright, cooker did a great job. Everything turned out good. Those hot wings were hot, so I need to go get myself some water. But I do want to talk about the warranty real quick. You get 60-day satisfaction guarantee when you buy direct from Ninja, and if you have any dislikes or whatever in that 60-day time frame, I think they let you ship it back on their dime and refund your money. But beyond that, there's a 1-year limited warranty. So I think this one, it's cool because you can put a nice sized chicken in there. So that's one major improvement over the smaller one. You can get a nice size, you know, for a lot of us might be a regular sized chicken that you get in there and cook it up, you know. Why get a rotisserie chicken when you can do a nice air roast chicken in your dual air fryer and have something else on the other side? You know, maybe somebody else wants a different cut of meat. You can do theirs on the other side and do yours on the first side, you know, or vice versa. But it's all up to you. Now, with all that said, in the description, if there is a referral link, I'll put it there. You pay the same price, help this channel. Also, you can do things like buy my cookbook. It has lots of recipes that work basically cross-compatible with different types of air fryers usually. And with all of that said, if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon. Also, you can check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com, and good eating.